Hello and welcome to Won't Be Forgetting That, a podcast talking about all of the most awkward and embarrassing moments of people working in the arts and entertainment industry. I'm your podcast host, Seb Muirhead, and today we have a guest. They are a producer and a casting associate, Johnny Ong.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, that's a very sad introduction. Are you okay?
Well, yeah, it's 10:30 in the morning. Just leaving Melbourne, sadly, going back to Sydney.
Oh, the
Just
worst one as well. Yeah.
Oh, mate, I don't know what it is about Melbourne, but people are way more friendly here.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
There's a way more collaborative vibe here, and just somebody from Sydney told me that it's kind of like London when you go outside the big city, you just realise how miserable everyone is, just because it's just that hustle and bustle
I
of
know,
the big
right?
city, and just everyone's a bit more friendly outside.
Controversial opinion for anyone that lives in Melbourne as well. I myself do live in Melbourne. I quite like Sydney.
Oh, okay.
I know you're not meant to.
Yeah.
I know that's a really taboo thing to say.
Yeah. Why is that?
Why do I like it?
Yeah.
Oh, I went up there earlier this year and I was like, wow, like everyone's like, they're also like cool and trendy. I'm like, wow. Well, I mean, Melbourne has that as well. Maybe I just don't hang out with cool and trendy people in Melbourne, which sounds like a horrible thing to say for all my friends. So I do apologize, and we'll start this podcast again.
No worries. But interesting, because I think people from Melbourne are cool and trendy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Must just be like the grass is always greener kind of a thing.
Yeah. But no, don't get me wrong, though. I do love Sydney. It's a beautiful place, and the people, I say they're miserable, but they're not. They're just people here are just a bit more friendly. That's all.
It isn't.
I do like Sydney. The beaches are way better there.
Oh my god.
The weather's way better there.
Oh, but, it's not. Yeah. Well, I just got back from Tasmania, so I like anywhere is much better weather than there just now.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's nice having a bit of sunshine up there, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And even like the industry, like there's more TV and film.
There is, isn't there?
Yeah. There's got Disney Studios there. Like
that's true.
Thor, Shang-Chi over the past few years have come there. So yeah, it's a good hub for if you want to be an actor. If you're in that industry to get onto a big project.
It's also just an hour's plane ride away as well. Which you're from Britain yourself.
Yeah, from London. Yeah.
Yeah, which is like you're just expected to get a train ride down to anywhere around the country, even for an audition, or back in the day when it was a lot more in-room auditions. I found I'd get the train down to London sometimes just for an audition, to be there for 5 minutes and be like, I totally fucked this, and that was a waste of my day.
Oh mate, we had people coming from Lake District, Island sometimes, but that's the beauty of self-tapes now. Like,
oh, it's so much easier.
Yeah, so much easier. It's better for everyone. Like, you don't have to travel down for that 5 minutes from wherever you are.
Right.
We can see more people internationally as well. You don't have to give up your work shift to make that 5 minutes. You can just do your self-tape in your own time after work on the weekend. So,
exactly.
Yeah, kind of self-tapes has been good. COVID was shit, but in terms of self-taping, that kind of took over during and after COVID, so it's kind of a good thing.
So you're a casting associate yourself as well?
Yes, I am.
Do you want to explain maybe what that is for people that aren't in the industry?
Yeah, sure. So there's, I guess, 3 levels of positions within cast. Actually, probably like 4. So the first one would be your casting assistant, who's like kind of the first tier of level in the casting profession. So they normally do a lot of the admin. They run the sessions, usually just first rounds. They're booking in. They're generally the people you see in a commercial casting in the first round, just because the casting director normally is too busy to attend those and would only attend the recalls, especially if they've got a lot of jobs on. And then there's also a casting researcher who does a lot of research on projects or actors. So if you're, say, casting a film about the Sikh community, you'd get a casting researcher to just help you cast it authentically by maybe doing research on the Sikh community, the history, the culture, and what kind of Sikh actors are in that region. So, because it's a big job, that's a job in itself. So there are researchers. And then you have your associate. So associates are essentially the casting director when they cannot commit and do the job, maybe because they have other jobs on. So they'll maybe a casting director has 5 jobs on. has a big TV and film job they need to focus on, and maybe have 4 commercials, which the casting associate will essentially be the casting director on then.
Yeah.
And can cast it, but it will still be under the name of the main casting director.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what a casting associate does. And then of course you have the main casting director, who's like the top tier of that, who, you know, gets the ultimate credit as being the casting director on that project.
Yep.
Has the biggest say. You know, the casting associate would probably still consult the casting director on final decisions and things like that. And the casting director, of course, will have the clientele and will have that relationship with producers to be able to cast their projects.
Yeah. Oh.
So that is in a nutshell, what the casting hierarchy looks like.
What a lot of work that goes into casting as well, especially for people that aren't in the industry. They're like, why don't you just go on IMDb and choose like Chris Hemsworth to be in your film? It's that easy, right?
Yeah, because like people don't realize that it's more than just looking at a CV. It's really just like, how are they as a person?
Yeah.
You know, what's their vibe like? Are they going to be okay with this director for 5 weeks on set in Morocco or something? You know, how's the chemistry? How would they be with like their co-cast? You know, you can be a great actor, but actually when you come to act with someone else,
It's weird, isn't it?
It's weird. You've just got to be really generous and, you know, listen to the other actor, give them the time as well, not just have the spotlight on yourself. So yeah, it's a really collaborative process, and just so much goes into it.
And you must just see 1 million people every single week as well.
You know what? This with self taping, it's gone up. So if you think we used to do like 10 to 6 in a casting studio, within that 10 to 6, you could probably get about 40, 50 people max.
Yeah, that's still pretty decent numbers as well.
Decent numbers, but then with self-taping, with 40, 50 in that 10 to 6, now you're looking at 150 to 200 people, even more sometimes. And then in terms of submissions, just because there's more and more agencies now, more and more actors coming through. So, you know, we'll have 2 roles and over, 1,500 submissions just for those 2 roles.
Isn't that amazing? Like, even just getting an audition, it should be counted as a win, which I'm working a lot harder myself personally to count it as a win now as well. And there's some great people out there which really like champion that mindset, but like 500 people and you get asked for an audition is like, that's still crazy.
Yeah, and you know, if you get an audition, it is a privilege to get one because so much work has gone into it. You know, to even get the script into your hands, it's gone through, you know, the pitch for finance, the attaching of a director to a project, attaching a lead actor to a project, even before the pitch for finance, the drafts of scripts that have to be written, the pitch decks that have to be put together, finding a production company, an agency. Whoa. So all of that's gone into it before you've got the script in your hands. So actors, I mean, even myself, when I was an actor a long time ago, I used to dread getting an audition sometimes.
I'm the same a bit still, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have that attitude, because, you know, if it is what you want to do, it is a privilege because of all the work that's gone into it before that, and you just never know what can come from it.
I know, right? Well, it's that old saying, it's like you're never auditioning for that project, you're always auditioning for the next one, or whatever it is. Yeah. Which, like, is a great saying, but you're like, I could really do with booking this one as well, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
booking all of them would be lovely, but
exactly.
Oh God, it's tiring.
It's tough. It's one of the most beautiful, awesome jobs in the world, but it's one of the fucking most frustrating and hardest jobs in the world.
I can only imagine. And a little bit of a peek behind the curtain for this as well. So I attended a workshop with yourself. I'm going to say probably last year now.
Yes, that's right.
So Johnny runs some workshops down here in Melbourne and up in Sydney, and was it all over Australia as well?
So Sydney, Brisbane, Gold Coast, and Melbourne.
Yeah. And that's basically just getting people in front of casting directors, casting associates, and it's almost like a mock audition, I suppose you would call it.
What, the one you came to?
Yeah, or is that what all of them are like? I suppose.
No, you know what?
Tell you what, Johnny, why don't you explain what this is?
Well, maybe it feels like that, but actually it's, I would say more of a workshop.
Yeah,
because
right, okay.
There's no right or wrong way to do something in one of my classes, because, you know, save that for your big auditions. Yeah. Really, it's a place where it's creating a safe space for you to try whatever you want to try. If you want to try an accent, you know, me being from the UK, if you want to try your British accent and just get my feedback on it, just try it. Whatever level it is, it's the perfect opportunity to do that. And, I'm not going to judge you or critique you too much. It's just like, you just try it, do what works for you. It's your space to play. I'll give you a bit of feedback and we'll just work on your skills.
Yeah.
And just everyone's really supportive of each other. So, yeah, I would say it's more of a workshop vibe than an mock audition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, from the actor's side, it's terrifying.
Yes.
And it feels like an audition. So,
yeah.
which not because of any like relationship or any atmosphere you fostered in the room, but I don't know, myself personally, always terrified of being in front of like everyone and being like, oh, don't fuck this up, everyone's watching me.
Yeah, I mean, actors are perfectionists, aren't they? So
they're a weird bunch.
it doesn't matter. You could say workshop, but then they'll think, oh no, I've got to be at my best. I've got to put on a performance. I'm going to learn.
And end all.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be off book. I'm going to learn all the lines, and yeah, that's great because then that gives you stuff to play with in the workshop. But it's totally okay. Like, I understand you probably have a job or whatever, and if you're not off book, that's totally okay. You can have script to hand. Actually, some of the biggest actors in some huge recalls I've seen have script to hand.
Yeah,
because their performance is so engaging and they've got the essence of the character, we forget it.
Yeah,
we just ignore that they have the script in hand. So, and sometimes it's a comfort blanket too.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's also good to actually learn your lines as well.
Yeah,
I'll say that's the opposite side of this, but
yeah, it is good to learn your lines too. Yeah, for sure. But you know what, casting is always done. It's always been said that it's done on the essence of a character. So, you'd have two actors. One learns the script and nails it, amazing performance.
Yep.
And the other one didn't quite learn his line, had script to hand, but actually he just got the essence of the character.
Yeah.
He'll probably get cast just because he's just got the essence of the character, even if the other guy totally smashed it. So that's why sometimes, even when I was an actor, I'd go in and smash it and be like, oh yeah, pretty sure I've got that. Yeah. I did a great job or whatever, but it would go to someone else. But it's probably because they just had the essence of the character.
Yeah, exactly. And you can spend your entire life trying to work out why you didn't get that one part, but probably just let it go as well. Like it's a million different moving things.
Yeah. Do you know what? Because there's so many external factors out of your control as an actor, which is just really frustrating. You do your job and you do the audition, but then outside of that, there's a lot of decision makers which you have no control over.
No, nothing.
And which is just scary because, as a lawyer or as a accountant, for instance, you take an exam, then you can progress to the next level. As a lawyer, you win a case, you get clients or whatever. That's how you progress. But with acting, it's just kind of you do your audition and you just leave it to the powers that be to decide on you. And
then you just go home and you're like, fuck, why didn't I do this in my audition instead? That's personally what I do anyway.
Okay.
But back to your workshops as well, which you've just finished a round of down here in Melbourne.
Yes, I did one yesterday. Loved it. Like I said, it's just there's just something about Melbourne people and just the actors here, just way more collaborative.
Yeah, we're pretty fucking sick.
Dude, fucking sick. Honestly, the standard yesterday, there's probably 5 or 6 people in there. I was just like, wow, they could go on to really do big things there.
Yeah, that's so cool to hear. But this workshop that I attended, I think it must have been last year now, but you told a story in it which really resonated with me, and I think was one of the sort of bigger moments which made me think like, maybe I do want to start this podcast that we're both currently on as well. I was wondering, do you have any idea what I'm talking about just now?
Oh God, I told a lot of stories.
No, I know. I just sprung this on you just now as well. It's not a bad thing as well at all.
Was it which one would it be? Would it be the one about the casting director not knowing names or ethnicities of the actors? That one?
Oh no, I don't know that one.
That's another story to come.
Oh dear, we can definitely come back to that in that case as well then. But this one was it links back to the very first episode of this podcast as well, right, where I went for an audition with a certain Shakespeare company based down here in Melbourne, and I had incredibly bad food poisoning the night before and almost shit my pants. But you told us a story in your casting workshop where somebody was so nervous whilst waiting for an audition they actually shit their pants. So this was a casting for a huge action film. Back in the day, cast by huge casting directors in the UK, and they were so nervous in the waiting room that they shut themselves. Which is that's like, I mean, honestly, fantastic for this podcast, but I cannot think of another point in time or any other reason why that would be good.
Yeah.
That's such a shame.
Yeah, it saddens me that this kind of stuff happens, and
I know.
just I always, you know, for me working in casting, I want to make it more accessible and supportive for actors so that they don't feel like that.
So they don't have to shit their pants
So
just
they
to get
have
out of an
yeah,
audition.
exactly. So I think the better prepared you are when you come into before you even come into an audition, the less nervous you'll be.
Yeah.
And what will help with that is just, you know, if you have any questions for the casting director, feel free to ask away.
Yeah.
In terms of like, do you have more of a backstory for my character? Do you have the whole scene of where that slides are from? Can I see the full script?
Yeah.
Yeah. If we're allowed to, we should be able to send it and answer people's questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And allow them to relax a little
Allow
bit.
them to relax, yeah, and just make them, you know, not worry. Like, it's okay, just do a read. It's the first round.
Yeah.
It's not a recall, whatever. So yeah, you know, especially with like mental health being such a big issue at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
We just have to be more inclusive in the fact that people learn in different ways, especially, you know, when sometimes we send scripts 24 hours before. Like, it's just a fucking nightmare.
Like a 4-pager or like a 6-pager as well. You know?
Yeah.
Cool. I won't sleep tonight, I suppose.
Yeah, and you know, actors will turn it around,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of some actors who just have that such good work ethic
Yep.
and ability to learn lines. But not everyone can do that. There's
No.
dyslexic actors,
Yep.
neurodivergent actors who would struggle in that 24 hours, and we have to be very mindful of that.
Yeah.
And more open, make casting more accessible, that they don't feel nervous, you know, and they can have more time if they need,
Yeah.
or you know, we can get them to self-tape or come in a different day and give them a bit more time. Hopefully that changes.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And it seems
Yeah.
like it's certainly moving towards that.
Oh,
at least
absolutely.
As well. Yeah,
Definitely moving more towards that.
absolutely all for, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that's not as well, but it just seems to be like
Yeah.
pulling teeth sometimes
Yeah,
from a lot
yeah.
of just no one individually as
Yeah.
well. It's just, moving things
Yeah.
forward can be very slow
Yeah.
as far as progress goes.
And in terms of waiting rooms, I'll tell you one more story, which
Oh,
is
please.
just friggin' morbid. Basically, this is for commercial casting in London, probably about 25 years ago. And friggin'
Ooh.
this older actor came in, and he was really late for this audition, and the casting director was notorious for being, quite a strict, stern
Okay.
casting director.
Yep.
And he freaking came out to the waiting room, and started shouting at him.
Oh, wow.
And the older actor had a heart attack and died.
What?
Yeah, it's fucked. So fucked. Yeah. he
Oh my
died.
God.
Yeah, it's quite a well-known story in London casting
Holy
scene.
shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I have so many questions about this, but I feel like it's a really
Yeah.
like touchy subject.
Yeah,
obviously, but
But that's what I mean, is that kind of like attitude we kind of need to get rid of. Like,
yeah.
especially that I always felt there's a barrier between casting and the actors. Oh, we're casting, you're actors. You can stay down there, like
Yeah.
cross this barrier. You know, oh, we're this and that. We dictate everything.
Yeah.
No, you need to work together, because a casting director only looks good if the actor looks good.
Yeah.
And how does the actor look good? You know, we give them everything they need to do their best.
Especially if the actor's coming in and maybe they don't deal so well with really high stress situations. Like, fantastic performer, but you're coming in and you've just seen somebody berate an old man to death,
Hmm.
literally. You're like, maybe I won't do my best audition.
Yeah, exactly. And just, you know, if everyone's late, stuff happens, and there's
Yeah.
a bus crash, or, you know, maybe you woke up late, and you know what, fair enough. But we brought you in because we think you can do the job. So
Yeah.
by shouting at someone for being late, it's not going to help anyone.
No. And also, and no offense to casting directors,
Yeah.
but I have sat in a waiting room for like 45 minutes past when I was meant to be in.
Exactly.
And I don't go in and start screaming at them,
Yep.
saying, hey, I've been waiting here, sweating, making polite small talk with everybody else that looks exactly the same as me.
Yeah, such a good point, because castings usually run over, and
Yeah.
honestly, and you know, all we say to them, oh yeah, sorry, we're running a bit behind. Like,
Yeah.
and that's it, you know, and then we just give shit all the time when people are late. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a double standard for sure.
I know. But like, also do try and turn up on time if you can as well. Don't make it a habit.
Exactly. So turn up on time. But if you're late, you're late, and it's totally fine. Especially great casting directors I've worked with. If people are late, it's we say it's okay. Just you settle in. Just take an extra half an hour just to look at the script again, just settle in, and we can get you in later. It's totally fine.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
that's super nice. As well,
exactly. And so there's a lot of casting directors like that now, and who are way more considerate.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Than the old school ones.
Yeah, that's nice. The changing of the guard, so
Changing
to say.
the guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So hopefully there's no more stories like the one we just heard about the man having a heart attack.
Yeah, mate. Fuck. That's so fucking deep.
That's horrendous.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard that story as well. Although I lived in Scotland predominantly, so I was only really seen by a couple of English casting directors, but I'd never heard that one before.
Yeah,
Full on.
Yeah,
but,
and if you met this casting director, you could believe how that happened.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, everyone Google exactly who that is. Then. No, I'm joking. But do you have any other? I mean, I suppose you've been in the casting room more than most as well. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other stories or memories from either whilst you've been casting people or from, because you did say that you were an actor as well, from actually going into casting rooms and it doesn't have to be people shitting their pants as well. I'm open to any other awkward or embarrassing stories. It would be great if I could find someone that has actually shit their pants, and I can finally, as I've said this, that's my shining goal of this podcast is to find that one person that has managed to do that. But I don't have to wrap up the podcast if you don't have any of them as well.
Okay, so I'll start with before I started working in casting. So when I was an actor, so there was always this one audition which stuck out for me, which was for an Italian biscuit commercial.
Nice.
Right.
TV commercial,
yeah.
They're always the strangest.
Yeah, they're always the strangest, and Italian TV is funny. So for this script, for whatever reason, there was this desert island that this Italian guy on a boat discovers. And on this island are just East Asian people, South Asian people, and black people.
Oh, okay.
And on this island, they all speak their own language.
Okay.
A made-up language. So in the casting, here I am auditioning with my fellow South Asian actor and another black actor, and we all have to take our tops off for whatever reason.
Were you given a heads up before you came into the room that this might be a possibility?
The taking the tops off, I'm pretty sure they just told us in the room, but I think with guys it's like, oh, take your top off. Yeah, sure, whatever. And
I know.
And this was like 10, 15 years ago.
So it was totally acceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
Yeah, sure. I want the job. I'll take my top off.
I'll take my clothes off. I'll do anything for this job.
One pants off as well. Yeah. So we had all our tops off, and it was just super awkward. The three of us, and then there's just there's an agency there, director, producer, casting director, and just for the scene there was just you find a message in a bottle and then just communicate with each other in a made-up language.
Okay.
So here we are, the Chinese guy, this South Asian guy, and a black guy, and we're just tops off and we're looking at each other and we're just like and it was just fucking racist, man.
That sounds horrendous.
Fucking horrendous, man. And just like I wish I would have spoken up at that time, but because when you are so young and green and you just want work, you're not going to speak up, and maybe you're not aware of how bad things really are. And that was the one regret, and it sticks out for me like fucking hell, that shit used to go on. That's
like, and that's not even like, oh, this was 30 years ago. Like, that's 10 years ago. That's fairly recent.
Exactly. And just wow, like there's been more change in the past 3 years than there have in the past 15, for sure.
Which is great, but there's still is the possibility of those kind of things floating around as well. But
I think people would be more brave to speak up now. If that happened.
That's good.
Even in the room, they'd be like, excuse me, I don't feel comfortable to do that.
Yeah,
and
like,
they'd just leave.
What is this?
Yeah, rather than just go ahead and do it. Oh, fuck. Yeah. It was so bad.
It's hard sometimes as well. In the moment, you're kind of like not caught up in it, but you're like, everything's just been thrown at you and you're like, oh yeah, I suppose this is all right. Like everyone, and if there's other people in the room and no one's really too sure as well, and then afterwards that's really when it kind of hits home. So like, it shouldn't be on you obviously to speak up, although it is obviously a very important thing to do as well.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
It's gone through so many, like you were saying, so many different layers to come to you as the actor performing in the room.
And that's the most baffling thing, because like I said, before the scripts even come to you, it's gone through a process. So within that creative process, the writer, the producer, director, nobody flagged at any point that was probably unacceptable and a racist thing. Oh, this script is pretty racist. They were like, oh, this is funny. Oh, they're speaking their language. Oh, black person, Chinese person. Oh, it's be on that desert island. It'd be hilarious.
It's also like, was that in London? Sorry,
that was in London, and
incredibly diverse city as well.
Incredibly diverse city, but I will say, you know, I've worked in casting for 8 years.
Yeah.
Like every time agency and producers and directors come in, they are white.
Yeah, that is a lot, isn't it? Yeah.
Without people of color in those kind of real gatekeeper positions within those agencies or a producer director, there's not going to be that understanding or awareness if they're all white. You know, you just won't have that awareness. And so that's what needs to change. And when we always talk about representation, that's what we mean. If you're not represented, how do we even know that's a career option for you?
Exactly.
So, you know, there are less East Asian actors in general. Because there's barely any on TV. Like, people don't, if you don't see yourself on TV, you probably think, oh, yeah, that can't be me. Same with like the Matildas and the women's football, or soccer, as you guys say. Without them representing at the World Cup and being amazing footballers, it's not going to inspire young girls to get into it and become a future Matilda and become a professional football player, you know? So you need that representation.
Like you're saying, there's not even a thought of like, I can make a career out of this as well. And it's all great being like, I can have this as a hobby, but you're like, no, I want to turn my passion into a career. And it's like, it's one of those weird things as well where you're like, no, you can just do like your little plays, or you can just play like football or soccer on the weekends. You're like, no, I can be paid for what I'm good at as well. Like, it's that weird kind of people expecting you just to do it for free as well.
Exactly.
When there's other people like exactly the same, but like you were saying, like male football players, soccer players, white actors who are getting paid so much for it as well. You're like, no, everyone should have an equal like playing field for it. It's very
100%. And when you speak of diversity and representation, there's a misconception sometimes. It's like, oh, people of color taking jobs from white people. No. All it is just we want to be seen on the same level playing field as everyone. We just want the same opportunity. We're not taking jobs from white people. No, we just want to be seen. We just want to be seen and just on the same level playing field. That's all we ask.
Just morons that say that as well. And I'm like,
exactly.
Obviously, there's so many different viewpoints of people in the world, but like it's weird that becomes a narrative as well.
And it's not just ethnicity. It's people with disabilities. It's people with, you know, different gender identities and sexual orientations. That's representation and diversity. So a lot of people think it's just about race. No, it's bigger than that.
Yeah, exactly. But then sometimes it's like, especially you're saying with disabilities and stuff like that as well, if you can't see it on screen, they're like, it doesn't matter. Like it's whatever. I got Asperger's myself, so like seeing the kind of neurodiverse stuff coming a little bit more to the forefront, or even just the understanding on set and stuff like that as well, which is like lovely. But like you were saying, like it's just like, I don't want to steal people's jobs for that. Like I don't want to get given a job just because I have that neurodiversity as well. But like it's nice to be accepted for it too. And
you don't want to be like the person that's just ticked the box.
Exactly, right?
You don't want to be that guy. I'm just here because I'm just ticking the box.
Exactly.
No, we just want to be normalized and just be part of
like in
the same
real
thing.
life,
like
which
in real life.
So weird, right? I
exactly.
don't understand that at all, huh?
So I always tell people who just misunderstand, it's like, well, you know, if you go to Melbourne CBD or Sydney CBD, do you really see that reflected on screen regularly? No. And that's what's real. When you go outside, you see that. And it's just
accepted. But then on telly, some people are like, oh, there's too many accents in this. There's too many non-white people. What is this? And you're like, what are you talking about?
Exactly. And the fact that that's even pointed out means it's not normal.
Exactly,
so
right?
The day people stop pointing out, that will be beautiful, because then that means it's normalized.
Which is weird what's like real life reflected or what is real life and then what is reflected on screen.
100%.
Yeah.
And the day I can stop being, oh, look, there's a East Asian person in the background. Oh, there's an East Asian person. Oh, nice.
Yeah, when you're not like picking that one
exactly.
person out.
And it's normalized, then, oh, mate, then, oh, no, the industry's really changed.
Then we've fixed all the problems of the world, finally.
Yeah, hope. Well, big
I
one,
know.
but yeah, maybe. But yeah, no, that's
quite,
100% like proper progression.
Yeah. Hello. Now, before we get into our next story, I've got to tell you the main reason why I'm able to fumble through my awkward and embarrassing day-to-day occasions. Coffee. Now, fortunately for myself and all of the listeners, we have paired with one of Melbourne's best coffee companies, Coffee on Q, a coffee worth talking about. Get ready to caffeinate yourself through your next awkward moment with Coffee on Q's signature Elevate blend. Crafted in-house with precision, each sip delivers delightful flavour notes of strawberry, chocolate and marmalade. And here's a deal you won't want to miss. Coffee on Q is offering an exclusive discount to all our listeners. Simply use the code WBFT15 at checkout to enjoy an incredible 15% off all coffee purchases. That's right, WBFT15 is a key to savings, making sure you're properly awake to remember your next big embarrassing moment. Now, this code is valid for all coffee products, so make sure you stock up on your favourites. And the best part? You can use the code WBFT15 as many times as you like. So don't miss out on the opportunity to enjoy the finest coffee Melbourne has to offer. Simply visit Coffee on Q, and that's QCUE.com.au, and enter the discount code WBFT15 at checkout to unlock 15% off your next coffee order. That's WBFT15 at coffeeonq.com.au. Coffee on Q, where awkward moments pair perfectly with your daily cup. Very serious.
I know, yeah, geez. I thought it was, yeah.
So please tell me some other stories of people shitting their pants.
Yeah. So we had this Scottish actor come in one time, and he had food poisoning.
There's two of them. There's two Scottish actors, all right? So this could be anyone.
No, so I guess maybe I'll tell you what the really one key story, why I got into casting, because I was at a point where I was like, should I go into it? I'm not sure.
So you were acting at the point where you were thinking about getting into casting?
So people don't realize that within casting, a lot of actors work within it. So when you go into a casting studio, the person on the desk or person taking the session, this person on camera, it's probably an actor. Yeah. Just because, it's a flexible job, you get to be close to it, although
it's in the industry.
It's in the industry, and it generally pays decent, and it just means you don't have to work in a cafe or in retail.
Fuck yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, which is a damn hard slog, but the skills you learn from those kind of jobs really set you up for life for sure.
Yeah, they do, but then also having to deal with the general public sometimes is
it's
very tiring.
Bloody general public.
They're the worst. But please also come and see our shows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pay money. We want your money.
Yeah, please.
So yeah, I was working on camera. I think I was working on camera at a casting studio. I was still acting at that time.
Sorry, what does on camera mean in a casting studio as well?
So on camera is like on camera as in behind the camera.
Yeah. So all casting sessions are generally recorded.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The director of the production, who's maybe not there, or if it's a TV commercial, like the people who own the company can see you as well.
Yeah, or the casting studio would just hire like a freelance camera op just to film the casting.
Yeah.
Just because the casting assistant probably cannot do it or doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Just so they can focus on directing the actor or whatever.
Yep.
So I was on camera for this casting director who I'd known for a few years, and a very, very nice lady. She's good. She does a whole bunch of work, pretty established in London. And so I was on camera, and they were casting a commercial for this big video game company.
Oh, nice.
And they only wanted Japanese actors. Now, I can tell from the list of who's coming in is Japanese.
Yep.
So I'm looking at this list. I can see like Tom Nguyen, David Wang, Kim Si-young. I can tell who's not
traditionally Japanese surnames.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm looking for Makotos and Yokos, and I cannot see very many. And what I know is because I know the client wants just Japanese
Yep.
actors. So here I am thinking, oh shit, these guys have no idea. They're coming in. They probably dropped work or rearranged shifts just to make this 5 minutes in this room where they're just not even going to be considered just because they've been brought in because the casting director thinks they're Japanese.
Fuck.
So yeah, they're coming in, they're doing their thing. I'm just feeling terrible. And some of them I know. I'm just like, oh, hi mate, yeah, you are, yeah. And just like, you know, they've prepared and they've smashed it out, but I'm just like, fuck man, they're not even going to be considered. And then the worst thing was, I think like Tom Nguyen just came in and did his thing, just left. The casting director looks at me and she goes, oh, he was definitely Japanese, wasn't he, Johnny? Oh. And I just thought, wow, this is your job and you have no idea. So I just thought, you know what? Maybe it's not her fault. Maybe she just doesn't have the awareness. And it kind of made me realize, like, you know what? Maybe I need to transition over and do this properly.
Yeah.
When there are specific East Asian ethnicities which need to be cast, you know, why not get a specialist or someone who's a bit more clued up on who's who?
Who actually knows who is Japanese?
Yeah,
maybe?
Exactly. So I thought, you know what? I could do this. I could do this. I could do this properly. It would make things better for East Asian actors. It would stop wasting everyone's time. Because, it wastes the client's time as well. You're presenting, you know, a Korean guy as a Japanese person. Yeah. And they just feel, oh, what the hell's going on? And
that poor Korean guy as well, like you said, like, what a massive waste of time for him.
Yeah. And the way I pitched it to her was, you know, I did it in the best possible way. I said, you know what, if you were casting for an Italian person, you wouldn't bring in a Russian person, a Swedish person, a German person, someone from Bulgaria, because you'd know the difference, and it's just not something that you wouldn't do, right? So so I was like, so why is it any different for East Asian ethnicities? I think that hit the nail on the head, because right, you know, someone from China is different from someone from Indonesia or Vietnam or Thailand.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the same thing as someone from Russia and Italy. They're just completely different cultures. They look different, you know. Yeah. It just baffles me. And well, you know what, it's just raising more awareness. I can't believe that happened as well. I can believe it. Because,
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, there are people who are just not clued up. And it's just not their fault because they're just not aware, or they just don't have an understanding.
8 years ago as well.
No, probably about 8 years ago. Yeah. So that's why I said the industry's changed more in the past 3 years than the past 8, 15, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing as well. Do you know who they actually cast for the commercial as well? Were they Japanese?
I would friggin' hope so, yeah.
Oh, shit.
No, I'm pretty sure they did.
Did you ever see the Italian biscuit commercial on air as well at any point too?
No,
just to jump back to that
didn't.
story?
I think because the usage was only in Italy.
Yeah, okay.
Or hopefully it got canned.
I mean, hopefully.
I really hope it got canned, that somebody somewhere along the way was like, this is fucked up.
Yeah. But then if it's, I don't know.
Or do you know what? I hope they got to the edit point and they got it through post, and then someone at the biscuit company was like, what the fuck have you made us?
Yeah.
And all that money's been spent, and
the actors got paid.
The actors got paid.
The casting associates got paid.
And everyone got paid, but the production and the creative team got a lot of shit. And just,
you'd hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that was the repercussion.
I do genuinely wonder sometimes, and it's like, I've spoken about TV commercials a lot on here before as well. And I'm sure you've seen far more TV commercial auditions than I have. But I'm like, who comes up with these ideas sometimes? Because it's the most bizarre stuff you've ever seen. And then it is in the room where you're like, oh, can you come in? And I've had one, it was a few years back now as well. And I think it's with a casting company that's no longer around. But they're like, come in, like, can you sit on this couch and take your top off? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then they've done that, mate.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay. And they're like, pretend to wash yourself with money.
Jesus.
And I'm just sitting awkwardly on this cold leather couch with my top off, just being like, trying to suck my belly and be like, oh, this is not comfortable. But it's just so many of those things where it's fucking weird.
It's fucking weird and shit. Oh god.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, just if you're uncomfortable doing something now, like actors, if you're listening, just speak up. Like, and if you don't want to speak up in the room there and then, because it is awkward.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like, you know, tell your agent, tell your union, like tell Equity or MEA here. But the most important thing is to speak up.
Yeah,
and not stay silent, because if you stay silent, nothing will change.
It keeps happening.
It will keep happening. Maybe the person wasn't even even aware that was offensive or uncomfortable for you. So yeah, do speak up.
Yeah, which is good. I didn't speak at the time, but years later, I've been telling that story a lot on this podcast. So hopefully that's the same.
Yeah.
Or at least people know what to look out for now.
Yeah, and there's a great short film which won a bunch of awards. I would advise anyone, especially actors who's worked in commercial casts, to watch this short film, and it's only 5 minutes. It's called Fiery Hawk. I don't
Fiery Hawk?
Fiery Hawk.
Okay, cool.
Google it. It'll probably be on Vimeo or YouTube.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'll put that in the show notes to the this episode
please
as well.
do. Like, for me, and I've seen a lot of people try and capture casting in a short film or a skit, but this really captures
it's
what
on point.
Like. It's on point. It's an extreme example, but really there will be things you can relate to and just like, oh my god,
Yikes.
I've been through that.
I want to watch this as well.
No.
To be honest with you.
Watch it. It is hilarious, and it's just like, wow, yeah, that's how it is, and it's
right.
great, and it's won a bunch of awards, and deservedly so. So go and watch Fiery Hawk.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
From some of the TV TV commercial casting stuff as well, do you have anything that sticks out in your mind of some proper weird briefs? Because obviously you get everything through first, then you need to send on to the actors what they have to do in the room. Do you have anything that really sticks out in your mind of being like, this is fucked or super weird, or just like
super weird?
So many of them where I turned up and I'm like, I feel like such a dickhead doing this kind of stuff. I obviously want the job and I'm very appreciative of it as well, but I'm just like, I feel like such an arsehole, and I'm sure.
Put me on the spot there.
I'm so sorry. You don't have to if you don't have anything on the top of your head as well.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Just generally because the casting directors I have worked for are super clued up, so they wouldn't take on any offensive brief.
Not even offensive, just really weird stuff as well.
And have they? Yeah, no, they generally don't.
Nothing that's off the top of your head.
Nothing weird. The weird ones I get were when I was an actor.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're always Anyway.
Yeah, and you know what? One of the funniest ones was we were doing a zombie casting for this big online retailer, and what people don't know with zombie castings, as well as bringing actors who just pretend they're zombies, there are actual professional zombies.
Yep, who only met a couple of them in my time.
Yeah, who only do zombie work. We brought them in for the zombie commercial. This commercial where we needed zombies, and they went all out. So there was this one dude doing a zombie thing. For whatever reason, maybe he really wanted the part. He started just licking the door handle and just licking stuff in the room, and I was just like, holy shit.
Casting studio?
Oh my casting studio, like
hundreds of people go through every day.
Exactly, like, dude, maybe he was like the COVID super spreader, like
he was patient zero.
Yeah, exactly, from doing that shit. I
presume this must have been pre-COVID as well, right?
No,
okay, cool.
It was pre-COVID. Well, exactly pre-COVID, so maybe he was the one that set it off.
Fuck, name and shame this guy, all right? He's fucked the world enough for all of us.
So that was pretty weird and just crazy. Yeah,
upsetting.
I've never seen anything like that. And when that happens, you can't just tell them, just stop.
Thank you for the offer. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
thank you.
And just like sanitizing everything, and just in disbelief sometimes when that shit happens.
Yeah, I've kept every single one of my self-tape auditions on a hard drive, an external hard drive. Where one day where I'm like, I'm 60 and I'm like, let's look up all the horrible things I've done in my life. And
also on the flip side, just like how much you've progressed, because I'm sure
it's amazing.
You would have improved as an actor, so that's a nice thing.
So.
Yeah, well, better.
If I haven't, genuinely, what am I doing?
So I'm sure it'd be nice for you just to see some progression.
Which it's like, it's horrible watching the old stuff, but comparing it to the newer stuff that you've done now as well, I'm sure you must have seen that a lot in casting as well, or even as an actor yourself, like being able to be like, they've come a long way.
100%.
Like,
even sometimes over a space of a few months, because they've taken class, or they've maybe just refined their technique, or maybe just from auditioning loads you get better. There's a technique to it.
Going inside or going into the room, and you don't have to be like oh my god, so good to see you, I love like this thing that you audition people for, and like be natural and authentic.
You know what, being yourself still goes a very, very long way. Like I know a casting director who used to auditioned Daniel Kaluuya.
Oh, yeah.
Early on, and apparently he's been the same all the way throughout his career.
He
Just
seems
this-
like it,
such a
which
fun,
is a great thing.
Yeah, really cool, fun London guy. We call those type of guys roadmen. Like,
Oh,
he's just,
yeah.
like, real street and cool, and he's just been the same way throughout his whole career. Like, Hollywood hasn't changed him at all.
Yeah.
He's still that London boy at heart, that cheeky chappy, and that's worked well for him because
Yeah.
it's authentic and he's just himself. And when he comes into the room, people love that.
And he's a fucking good actor as
Fucking
well.
good actor, and he's
Yeah.
just so comfortable in his own skin that he
Yeah,
can
right.
feel the need to be himself. Because even myself, I've gone in and I'm like over chatty, or
Oh my
just
God.
like over schmoozy, and like I feel uncomfortable and like, oh fuck, that's not me.
I know, right? I've
Yeah.
done that so many times as well, especially younger in my career as well. Because, like, I think back when I was 20, I think I went in for this audition for this big American film that was filming in Scotland at the time, and they needed warriors because it was, of course, it was in Scotland, so it had to be a period piece. And they were like, "How tough are you? Like, when was the last time you got into a street fight?" And I've never been in a street fight. Like, I trained martial arts, but there's no way I'm fighting people in the street.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, like all the time."
Yeah,
I've never lost, and I got out, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I feel like such a fucking dickhead."
Yeah, all the fraud shit. Like,
Yeah.
I like, I'm East Asian, but we don't fucking do martial arts. So like,
Oh yeah! Wow, what a surprise!
yeah.
Whoa.
So I've had to obviously lie for parts. Like, oh yeah, no, I do kung fu. Yeah, I do
Oh, I'm the
Taekwondo.
same. Yeah,
it's
they're
all
like,
bullshit.
"Oh, you're like a football casual," and I was like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm proper into that
Yeah.
shit." I don't even watch football or
It's so-
soccer.
Yeah,
Sorry, but yeah.
it's so cringe. But because you're just a hungry actor, especially if you're
know.
younger and you're green, you just will do anything.
Anything.
And there's a great example if you Google Daniel Kaluuya on Graham Norton.
Oh,
He-
yeah.
he talks about that where he actually, you
Yes,
probably know, where he
yes.
lied about being able to do a Scottish
Yep.
accent. Yeah, and they asked him to do it in the room, and,
Yeah.
and he tells his story. It's freaking hilarious.
I do love those kind of things as
Yeah.
well, honestly. And like, I'm Scottish, so I'm very lucky to be able to do a Scottish accent. But I do hear a lot of people being like, "Oh, I can do the Scottish accent," and then it's like a notoriously
do
hard
it?
accent, and then it's horrendous.
yeah,
It's
dude.
just so weird. Anyway, yeah, that could be a whole other podcast in itself, just all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's so fucking strange. But being put on the spot, especially younger, because everybody finishes high school, goes on to spend way too much money on a degree in acting, comes out with like very little life experience, and you're like, "Oh, I just need to lie every chance I get so I can get in the door."
Yeah, and you feel horrible after.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit. That's
And you
not
don't really know who you are after that as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
So later on in my career, I just didn't. I was just always honest and
Yeah.
just came in with the attitude because I always tell actors like the most beautiful quality that you have as actors is your imagination.
Yeah.
You'd be in this blank grey room and you could. The role is you're a soldier in a castle, and you can
Yeah.
imagine yourself in that castle, and you can put yourself in that place. And although you're in this shitty casting studio, whatever,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
You can take yourself there and transport yourself and imagine that. But your imagination also is a big negative weapon in terms of, especially when you get the big recalls or you're called in for a big film and you get carried away thinking, what could happen if I got this role, and the money involved,
Start
what I could buy.
mentally spending it.
Yeah, you imagine spending it and you start romanticizing and you're like, oh, this is it. And then when you don't get it, that crashing blow and that downfall is very, very dangerous and just, it's crushing. And so that's why later on in my career, I was just like, I just go and do my thing and just forget about it.
Yeah, which I think is important as well.
Super cliche, hear it all the
Yeah.
time, but you really have to do that because
Yeah.
you can't help but imagine. That's your biggest tool as an actor, to imagine yourself in a castle
Yep.
as a soldier role.
Yeah.
But you can't help imagine what would it be like to get the role and what's going to happen after. It's just natural, but you just have to try and stop that thinking and just do your thing and leave.
Yeah, have a healthy life outside of acting as well.
Yeah, and it comes across on camera subconsciously,
Yeah.
whether you like it or not. When you're super relaxed and you just with that attitude of just like, you know what, I'm just doing this, whatever happens, you will book.
Yeah,
Because you're just super relaxed and you're closest to your real self. Whereas if you're like, you're really wanting it and you're a bit nervous and you put you'll tighten up. You on camera, you won't
See the fear in your eyes.
There'll be a moment, there'll be something that's just a little bit off, and you're not your authentic self. So that's why you just honestly have to
Gotta relax.
Gotta relax. Just go and do your thing. Like, as much as actors love booking jobs and doing acting, there's more important things in life.
There is, isn't there?
Your family, your friends, your hobbies, whatever.
Mental health.
Mental health.
Yeah.
Like, dude, without that, you can't do anything.
I know, right?
You have to
Yeah.
act, you know.
And look, coming back to the playing the soldier in a castle and the casting room, I do have one question about that.
Yeah.
But just saying as well, like, if you do book the job and you film it and everything, don't put everything into that coming out as well, because sometimes productions don't come out. Sometimes my first ever bit part in Australia for a TV show, I was fully cut out of it. I think you saw the back of my head. I was in the credits, I got paid, I got an IMDb credit, I got the day on set, but I was not in it whatsoever. So don't hinge your entire life on, like, this is my big break. Everyone's going to recognize me off of Offspring.
100%. And also coming off those jobs, so you've just done this amazing job. You've been treated like a king, like own trailer, all the expenses paid, flights, everything. And then you come back and you're back to a retail job the next week, and it's just like soul destroying.
It's quite humbling.
It's humbling. So that's hard as well.
Yeah.
That's where you have to be like, you know what? I enjoy that. That's great. What's next?
Yeah.
Back to the grind.
So we're going to start wrapping this podcast up very shortly,
nice.
but I do have one question. How you were saying coming into that shitty little casting studio, this is Johnny's quote, not mine.
Well, some are really shitty.
They are just rooms.
Some
They're
are
just
fucking
barren
rooms.
rooms.
Yeah, I mean, some look amazing, and
some
like,
really are.
well decorated. And
some are inside old warehouses which are freezing cold, and you're like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm sure I just saw a mouse.
or they definitely kill people here. Like,
For sure. But like, you come in and you're playing the soldier in the castle. Do you get people turning up dressed as said soldier, coming in with like the guns and stuff like that, or like the props, their own props and stuff like that? How do you feel about people coming in with?
You know what? Do what is going to work for you.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Don't do what you think we want from you, and that's not you, and you'd feel uncomfortable doing that.
Yeah,
and it's not authentic. Because it works sometimes, because some clients don't have imagination. So it just baffles me sometimes, like people don't realize you're going to be put into hair, makeup and wardrobe to look like that anyway. So but I guess some don't have an imagination. So if you can come as close to it as possible, go for it. If that works for you and you feel comfortable doing that. However, that may not necessarily book you the job. Someone who just comes in a t-shirt and shorts may book the job just because they have the essence of that character. They will get cast.
Exactly.
So, and it's not a one answer fits all kind of scenario in this industry. Everything's subjective. One person's experience isn't necessarily another's. So, you know, especially with advice, like take what you want or need and from different people and what works for you. Like, there's no one way to do things.
So important. And that goes for literally anything in this industry as well. Like, you don't have to have the one specific acting technique. That doesn't work for everyone. Borrow bits from that to like help yourself, and like you don't have to do everything the exact way. And like working with different directors and DOPs, they all have their own methods as well, which maybe if you come in with a one specific way you know how to work in, it doesn't work with them, and you're like, but this is kind of fucked. We're not working together and I don't know why.
So there's lots of ways, but there's no right way or wrong way. It's just,
I mean, there's plenty of wrong ways, let's be fair.
That's true. There are just like
but I know what you mean as
you
well.
Know what I mean. So just do what works for you.
Be authentic, like you were
saying. Be authentic. It will go a long way.
Well, this has been a very like heartfelt,
really
mate,
I thought we were supposed to
podcast.
talk about funny shit.
I know, right? Oh no, this is lovely though. Do you have any other stories?
Any other stories? I mean, there was one that, I mean, the ones that I'll tell you, the ones that stick out for me. So I was in this, we're doing this commercial casting for I won't say the brand, but anyway, I was working with this director the whole day, 10 to 6. We had a good bands, good chat. It was great. Came to the end of the casting. For whatever reason, as he's saying bye, he's like, "Oh yeah, see you later, Johnny." See you later, mate. And then he just fucking bows to me.
I was gonna ask you.
He fucking bows to me and he says "arigato," and he just leaves.
Oh my god!
And I was just like, because the casting director was also in there as well, and we just looked at each other like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Is this a hidden camera show?
Yeah,
like,
I honestly thought, is he just outside? And then I come out, he's like, "Oh, dude, I was messing with you," but he just fucking left, and I was just like, "Wow,
that is bizarre."
Yeah, just fucking dude, wow. And I was like, and again, this was like 7 years ago or whatever.
See,
It's
these
not.
would be so funny if they weren't so sad as well.
Oh, mate, I've only got sadness.
Oh no, fuck.
Yeah. So, and another one was just, I mean, it's not as extreme as that, but like, I don't know, people who work in advertising sometimes, especially in London, they're very like, oh yeah, you know, oh my god, yeah man, let's do this advert.
These people are
yeah,
not fun.
you know that kind of person.
Yeah.
He's just a bit. I don't even know the word. Like, I don't know, posh cunt.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. I think. Yeah.
Anyway, so for whatever reason, it was a recall, and the director didn't. They were pairing them up,
Yep.
and they didn't put their favorite with their other favorite.
Okay.
Just for whatever reason, you know,
Okay.
and it's not in my. Well, yeah, maybe I suggested they do that, but they just didn't do that. And then it came to the playback.
Yep.
And they were like, "Oh, where's the clip of like Sarah with Maria? Like, where is that? Like, I swear we filmed it."
Yeah.
They obviously didn't.
Yep.
And they never paired them up. And the fucking agency producer is such a liar. She's like, "Oh my god, like, oh, that was like the best take. I can't believe we didn't film that." She fucking looked at me, and I was like, "Oh my god!" She's lying out the skin of her teeth. Just looked me straight in the eye, just like, "Hey, I'm fucking you. I'm fucking with you."
What an asshole.
What an asshole. That's like, oh my god, what is this fucking industry? And so, yeah.
So gross sometimes.
It's so gross, especially advertising commercials.
Advertising people are gross.
Yeah.
Please still give me jobs, obviously, anyone that's listening. But
They are, but not all of them. There are lovely people,
No,
but
I'm
there
sure
are
there's
some.
one that's not.
There are some weird, fucked up shit. And if you notice,
Yeah.
all the fucked up shit I've just told you about have come from commercials and advertising and all of that
TV
shit.
casting commercials,
Yeah,
or even
it's
the
just-
commercials themselves. Yeah.
Bit of strange, weird, but wonderful people. But yeah, no, TV and film is a whole different ball game. I think
Yep.
it's way more respectful, way more.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, they're really considerate of people's time as well.
Yep.
It's a whole different ball game with that, and just way nicer.
Yeah, that's good. That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, TV like commercial casting or
It's the
TV
bulk.
commercials are
The bulk and
what
why?
happens every
yeah,
single week.
and why is that? Like, I have actors come to me all the time. Like, oh, I'm tired of always going for commercial.
Yeah.
Always going out for commercial. It is because that is the bulk of the work out there.
Yeah.
Because you flick on Channel 9, 10, whatever, and you see how many TV shows there are in
Yeah.
a day. Yeah, there's loads of TV shows. But then think about how many ad breaks there are in those
Yep.
shows, and then think about how many commercials show in those ad breaks.
Yeah.
All of those commercials need talent. So
Yep.
that's why the bulk of your work are commercials.
Exactly.
And don't look at them with like a negative view. Yeah, nobody wants to just do a McDonald's commercial, then go into Subway or BMW. Well, maybe some people do.
I would take those paychecks in a heartbeat. I'll be honest with you, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, if that's your career aspiration, yeah,
Yeah.
good for you. But most people want to be on a TV show
Yeah,
or
for
have some
sure,
progression, do something really, fulfilling, whatever. But yeah, they paid pretty well.
They do, don't
So
they? That's the problem.
They'll pay the rent. Use them to your advantage when you book them, or if you go up for them.
And you can meet some really good people on them as well.
Exactly, and big directors still do commercials.
For sure.
Yeah. So in London, we worked with Tom Hooper, who directed
Yeah.
The King's Speech.
Hell yeah.
Cats, and he was doing an M&S commercial.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Guy Ritchie was doing a Heineken commercial. Yeah, so they still, they're big bread, like pocket money for them, really.
Yeah.
And I guess ways to see other actors they wouldn't normally see because they're used to
Exactly.
seeing high-profile TV actors. So
And for them as well, they're like, yeah, make a few 100,000, why not?
yeah, exactly. And you know what? Like, if you book 4 commercials a year, like I know people who do that and they don't have to work in catering or
Yeah.
retail.
Friend of the show, Sally Chang,
Yeah,
books
exactly.
way too many TV commercials. It's
Yeah.
almost rude of her. But yeah.
Good on her. And
Yeah.
there is a technique to it and a certain look. So if
Yeah.
you're not booking them, it is just because of that.
Exactly.
There's a look to it. There's just, yeah. But you know what? Saying that, there's also a role for you for whatever point in your career, whether it's now or 10 years' time,
Yeah.
whatever look you've got going on. Like, don't worry. There is a place for you at some point.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very lovely way to wrap up this podcast.
Yeah,
as well. Thank you,
what's going
Johnny.
on? I thought we still talk about funny shit and we've gone all wholesome.
No, sorry, wholesome's quite nice as well, I'll be honest. Sometimes there's been a few jokes in there, a few funny
Yeah,
things, but
yeah.
fuck yeah, no, it's just nice to feel good sometimes.
Yeah, and especially now with all the shit that happened in COVID, just
Yeah.
being more supportive of each other
Oh, for sure.
because we're all in it together.
And nobody's stealing your role as
Nobody's
well.
stealing a role.
Whether you think it's a diversity casting or you're like, that person got it over me, and you're like, yeah, they were just slightly different than you. That's fine. Like,
yeah, and with the diverse stories, it's about time.
yeah. Oh, also,
For the past 100 years, count on your hand how many diverse stories there are. You could probably count just a few.
Yeah, it's great. I don't want to just watch another story about a small Australian rural town which has a dark secret which somebody returns to after they've moved to the city.
Yeah.
And again, cast me in these. I'm happy to be in them, but I'm also happy to be in other things too.
Yeah, and like people love that stuff, and there's a market for that. Yeah, but there's also a market for diverse stories. So let's
for sure,
be inclusive and let those people hear and see those things.
And there's been so many of them come out recently as well. And like again, like it's looking forward from behind the scenes a little bit more. So there's definitely more coming as well. Oh, do we have a mysterious phone ringing?
Yeah.
I think this is your hotel phone.
Is my hotel? Oh, shit.
Yeah, do you want to answer it? We can stop the recording for a second if you like. Well, I think that's the perfect time to wrap up this podcast as well then. Thank you once again for coming on as well, Johnny. Now, where can people find you? You've got a few bits coming up as well, so where can they keep an eye out for that?
Yeah, so I guess the best way you could reach me, on socials, Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm Johnny Ong, but my surname, the letter O is a 0.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
If you search for my handle, that's what it is.
Okay. So at Johnny0NG.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Cool. This will be in the show notes as well for anyone that's confused by that.
Yeah, so 0NG. It's funny, I was in Italy one time and someone's like, I said ONG. He's like, OMG, your name is oh my god. I was like, oh my god. Anyway,
not quite, but
so ONG. And I've actually taken a break from casting now. So I'm as of last December got snapped up by NIDA.
Hell yeah, that's one of the largest dramatic schools in Australia as well.
Yeah,
so cool.
It's been nice. So I've moved into more of a producer kind of production role now. Basically, NIDA are coming out with this exciting new project, which has a bunch of films, audio, and stills content, which I'm producing and helping with the production on. So
keep up to date with you on Instagram for that. Is that where you're going to be?
With all of that, and I still do casting bits here and there in the UK and Australia. So if you ever get a breakdown from me with signing off as Johnny Ong, that's me.
Johnny OMG.
Johnny OMG. But yeah, you know what? People can reach out to me anytime. If you listen to this, you have any questions, whatever. I'm always actually happy to speak to people.
Oh, that's awesome.
And just have a chat or any questions, advice. Like this is what the whole accessibility and supportive kind of mantra I go by in my career. Just wanting to respond to people. Really, sometimes it may take a while, but I will get back to you. Just it all takes a minute just to respond to something.
Oh, for sure. Like busy man.
Yeah, and we can all do that. And if that helps support people, I'm always open to do that.
God, why are you so nice, Johnny? This is like such a wholehearted, beautiful podcast. Where's the funny?
It's because I'm such a dick and I want to make up for being no.
It's true. As soon as the microphones are down, he's a horrible person. Jokes.
No, I just think, you know what, it's karma too. Like,
fuck yeah.
I've been quite blessed to have had many opportunities in my career, and I think that's just from being a nice person.
Oh, I think you definitely like you are like an incredibly accessible person as well, which is like good things come around, right?
100%. Like being a nice person goes a long way.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't used to in this industry, but I think it's starting to a little bit more now as well.
Which used to baffle me. I was like, he's such a dick, but he gets all the roles.
I know, right? Oh, yeah. I suppose then the same as every week, you can find Won't Be Forgetting That Pod across most of the socials. If you did enjoy this episode as well, please do tell a friend. Word of mouth really goes far. Give us a little 5-star review. Write us a nice little review. That'd be lovely. Subscribe as well. And you can find me on Seb Muirhead, MUIRHEAD, across Instagram and YouTube. They're basically the only things I use nowadays anyway. But thank you once again, Johnny, and stop being so nice, please.
No worries, mate.
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you. Bye.